Hey everyone! So this week I think is a very fun thing to do. We are recommending books that we think you would like based on other books that you might have read and liked. So I made a list of books that I think are pretty popular that you guys might have read. I'm pretty sure at least one or two of them you've read, and I have little piles over here of some books that I think you would enjoy based on these books. So first up, I of course had to choose The Hunger Games. I don't think anything can really compare to that book because it's just awesome. But I think in style, I've picked some books that are similar. So first up is Ashes by Ilsa J. Bick. I actually just finished this one, and wow, is it intense. This is not what I expected at all. It is a lot darker, a lot gorier, grittier, just everything I did not expect from it. It's a little intense for a young adult book, so if you're younger and you can't handle graphic scenes of violence, this is not the book for you. But if you like violence, this is definitely the book for you. It is about an electromagnetic pulse that shoots across the sky and kills all these electronics and actually kills quite a few people as well. And it also happens to have this weird effect on teenagers where it turns them into cannibalistic zombies. You know, teenagers are sometimes like that. So it is, like I said, very intense, but very, very good. And the ending will leave you like dying for the next book, just like I am. Then Delirium is kind of the opposite of that. It is a little lighter than The Hunger Games. It is focusing more a bit on the romance in this one, but I will tell you that I've read the sequel that comes out next year, and it's not at all light and fluffy. This one is not fluffy, but it is light. It's got quite a few sweet moments and not so much violence and action in this one until you get to the end. And then things get really intense, and they pick up right shortly after this in the second book, and it just is really action packed. So while this one might not sound like your thing because you don't like things that aren't action filled, the sequel will really make up for it. So I would recommend this one. And then Divergent by Veronica Roth. This is another one that doesn't have a whole lot of action in the beginning. It's kind of setting up this world, and then at the end things just get crazy. Oh my gosh, I am dying for the sequel. Insurgent will be out in May, and I'm sure that if you've read this one, you're dying for it. And if you haven't read this one, I'm not going to speak to you until you do read it. It's one of my favorite books of 2011, if that tells you anything. So then next, two of my favorite authors are Gail Forman and Sarah Dassin, and they're pretty popular contemporary authors, so I, of course, had to give you some suggestions for books that you might like based on those books. First up, The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight by Jennifer E. Smith. This one actually won't be out until January, I believe, of 2012. But it is so cute. I just finished it, and it is the story of a girl who is 4 minutes late and misses her plane to her father's wedding. And she happens to end up sitting next to a cute British boy named Oliver, and it's about love at first sight. So it was just really cute. And then I was going to talk about this book next, The Beginning of After by Jennifer Castle. This one is not quite so happy. It does have happy moments, but it's more along the lines of If I Stay, where the girl loses her whole family. And yes, I know that's not really something that a lot of people like to read about, but I really enjoy those kind of books. And I thought this one was just really fabulous. The author tackled a lot of tough things going on in this book, like grieving for your whole family. But I thought she did it really well. And like I said, there's some happy moments and some really cute moments. So I think even if you don't like the heavier books, you might like that one. Now to the next one, Anna and the French Kiss. Of course I have to mention this book. I've mentioned it in like every video I've made, as well as Lola and the Boy Next Door. These ones are just fluff, pretty much. I can't really call them anything more than that. They're just cute romances, no hidden meanings involved. Then, if you're fans of the Pretty Little Liars series, sorry, I can't talk tonight if you can't tell that already. So if you're fans of the Pretty Little Liars series, maybe if you've watched the show or if you've read all the books like me, I think Deadly Cool by Gemma Halliday would be a good book, and the tagline is First Love is a Killer. It's about a girl whose boyfriend cheats on her and then is accused of murdering the girl he cheats on her with. And so it's her job to find who really killed her. That job would suck. Finding out, like, clearing your ex-boyfriend. I'd rather have my ex-boyfriend rot in jail if he cheated on me. Sorry, not really. Then The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. Nothing at all like Pretty Little Liars, except for the fact that it's really kind of twisted. Like, kind of like what A does to the girls in Pretty Little Liars, I think is how Mara is in this book. She's very tormented, very twisted, very messed up, and you kind of don't know what or who is causing this. So that's another one of my favorites for 2011. And then The Body Finder by Kimberly Derting. This is a bit more paranormal, but I kind of like the romance aspect and the murder aspect more than the paranormal part of it. And then if you like the Wicked Lovely series by Melissa Marr, or really any fairy series, I'd recommend the Iron Fae series by Julie Kagawa, which starts with the Iron King. These are dark and twisted and creepy fairies. My favorite kind. I'd also recommend, I think it's the Modern Fairy series by Holly Black. If you've read anything by Holly Black, all of her stories are kind of twisted. So that stands to reason that Tithe, the first book in that series, would be very twisted. Then, if you like Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick, I'd recommend Fallen by Lauren Kate. I know a lot of people didn't like that book, but a lot of people also didn't like Hush Hush, and I love them both. And then I'd also recommend the Blue Blood series. This is the short story collection, but it's the only one I could find. But it's by Melissa de la Cruz. And yes, it is a vampire story, but I think there's a lot of angel stuff that goes on in this book that's kind of unexpected, but I think it's one of the best angel, vampire, werewolf stories ever. And then for fans of zombie books like Rot and Ruin by Jonathan Mawberry and Generation Dead by Daniel Waters, I'd recommend what I'm reading right now, which is Dearly Departed by Leah Habel. And I'd also recommend this for steampunk fans of like Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld and The Girl in the Steel Corset by Katie Cross. This is a mix of zombie romance and steampunk, and it's so good so far. I'm so addicted. I cannot wait to finish this video so I can go read it. It's just a bit creepy, but I think it's gonna be really good. I kind of like creepy stuff. And you know, Ashes could kind of go with the whole zombie thing too, even though they're not technically zombies. So that is, I think, everything. I know I have more, but I don't actually have them with me, so I'm not going to mention them. But I will list all the books below so you can remember the titles, and I'll see you guys next week.